scooped jersey top. This is lovely, really soft, baggy one that you can wear. We're going to make it in a nice quilted grey fabric, so it's just come in, I'm really excited. So just to give you an idea, this is the style that we'll be making. So follow me and I'll show you how to make it. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to make our scooped hem jersey top. What you're going to do is cut out your pattern pieces, lay those on the fabric and cut those out. You want to make sure you've got one going one way and one going the other. It is all written in the instructions for you, and keep an eye on our blogs as well because there's some more information coming soon on there. Basically you're going to have one front panel rather, it's all cut into one piece because you're going to cut that on the fold, and then for the back panel you're going to have two separate pieces. They're going to come like this, okay, and they'll be cut separately. So I've actually got two pieces here. And what we're going to do is lay our two back panels together. We're going to lay one down with our right side facing up, and then we're going to put the other one on top with our right side facing down. Okay, so make sure when you cut them that you're cutting them as a pair, and you have two like that. So we're going to put the two together, and then we're going to stitch down the long straight edge, which is going to join our back panels together into one piece. I'm using this lovely quilted jersey that's come in, so you'll see it's got a tiny bit of orange on one side, and on the back it's got a lovely orange stripe as well. So it is kind of reversible, you could use it either way. And this is a new kit that will be available on our website soon, so do check it out. So we're going to stitch all the way down, so I'm going to put some pins into holder, and then we're going to stitch all the way down. The nice thing is this fabric doesn't move too much, so we don't need lots of pins. Just pin it all the way down, always pin the bottom edge as well to make sure your fabric doesn't overrun, and then I'm going to stitch down using a straight stitch. Because this fabric, we're making it in jersey, but it is more like a sweatshirt style, so we're not relying on any of the stretch in the fabric, so you don't need to use a stretch stitch on your machine. If you've got an overlocker, then you could overlock it together really quickly. It means it'll give you that neat finish on the inside, save you neating it separately. So that probably would be the best way if you've got one, but I'm just going to make it on a sewing machine. It's not a problem to do it that way. So I'm going to stitch down, so just with a straight stitch, because I'm not relying on the stretch at all. So you do a little knot at the beginning, forwards and backwards, and then we're going to stitch all the way down. It's got a 1 centimetre seam allowance this top, and I'm stitching down here, and this is going to join the two back panels together to make them into one big piece. So this pattern is already available on our website. This is called Scooped Hem Top, and our website is www.owlandsewingcat.com. And then we're going to be launching some new kits of this on our next show on Creative Craft, which is going to be on the 24th of May at 10 o'clock. So tune in, keep an eye out on social media as well, and give you more information. And they're going to have the lovely exclusive mustard colourway that you saw earlier as well. So I've stitched down that long straight edge all the way down the back. I'm going to take the pins out. Okay, now you've got this raw edge here, which we can neaten. To be honest, this one, because it's a really good quality jersey, it's not actually going to fray any, so it's up to you if you want to neaten that edge, which you could do with an overlocker, you could do it with a zigzag stitch, you could do it with an overcasting stitch. Most machines have an overcasting stitch now, which is what I'm going to do on here. So I'm just going to overcast all the way down that straight edge just to neaten it. So to do that, I'm going to change the foot to an overcasting foot, which on a brother sewing machine is foot G, and that's got a little gap in the middle there, which we can let our fabric run through. And then I'm going to change the stitch over to our overcasting stitch. All of this should be explained in your manual, and it's a nice easy way to change on a brother sewing machine. And then I'm going to stitch down, keeping the edge of my fabric and running in that gap in the foot. And I'm going to stitch all the way down the entire length. So you can see that the edge of the fabric is just running in the gap in the foot, and I'm just going to stitch all the way down the straight edge, and that's neatening it all nicely for us. So I've overlocked the complete edge all the way down. It's hard to see because I've done it in matching colour so it doesn't show. Right, now we're going to put the two pieces together. So I'm going to lay this back panel face up on the table. So I've got the right side facing upwards, and then I'm going to take my front panel and I'm going to put that one on top with the right side facing down. So always right sides together. And we can line up the curve around the neck. You'll see the front dips lower than the back, which is usual on a neckline. And then I'm going to line up the long sleeve edges here. And I'm going to pin and stitch all the way down this long edge here. Okay, so this is our top long shoulder seam. So again, just like before, put a few pins in. If you put them at right angles, you can stitch over the pins. Most sewing machines don't mind that. So just work your way along. When you're pinning jersey fabric, it's always good to put one pin on one end and then repeat putting the other one down the other end so that you can then ease the middle bit in. Okay. So So I've pinned it on that top straight edge, and I'm going to machine that now. Straight stitch, just like before, 1 centimetre, forwards and backwards at the beginning, and then all the way down to the end of that sleeve. So it's just the one straight line. We're not going to turn any corners or stitch across the end, because that's going to be our sleeve opening, and the other end is going to be our neck opening. All the way down. So this is a very simple style that anyone could make, beginner or not. Just make sure you've got good quality fabric. That's the key when you're sewing with jersey. Always make sure it's good quality fabric. And we do have kits available if you'd like to make it using our fabric. All the way down to the end, forwards and backwards to knot it in, and take that out of the machine, and that's done. I'm going to repeat that with the other side now. So we've got another sleeve on the other side. Lay it back down flat, and again, so we've got our curved neckline in the middle, and I'm going to now pin this sleeve in here. So pin all the way down and machine the long edge, and repeat as before. So I've done both shoulder seams now, and now I'm going to stitch the underarm. So that's going to be stitching from here all the way along and down to the bottom hem. You'll see your hem pieces are not lined up, and that's correct because it's going to dip down at the bottom, and that is how we want it to be. That is the style. So we're going to start at the top here, leaving the cuff end open, and we're going to stitch all the way down. So just pin it just like before, all the way down, and then we're going to stop when we get to that bottom edge. I'm going to repeat the same on the other side. So we've done the 2 shoulder seams, and we're basically now just doing the underarm seam on both sides. Okay, so I've pinned all the underarm seam, and now I'm just going to stitch it with a straight stitch just as before, because we're not relying on the stretch of the fabric. I'm just going forwards and backwards, beginning to lock it in, and I'm going to stitch all the way down. I've got a stitch length 2.5, which is your average stitch length, and that's going to be absolutely fine. This is a lovely, comfy, cosy sweatshirt, something you want to throw on a weekend when you're just relaxing. So there is no relying on the stretch of the fabric. It's just a nice, fluffy one to wear. One of my favourites. So I'm going to stitch all the way down, remembering that the curved hem means that the front and back are going to be different shapes when you get to the bottom. But as long as they're lined up at the side seam, that's all you need to worry about. So we're going to go all the way down to the bottom edge, and then I'm going to go forwards and backwards and cut the threads. And then repeat on the other side. So you can see at the bottom here that our hems are different shapes, and that's because the front is raised up and the back dips down. As long as it's in line here at the side, the bottom at the side, that's absolutely fine, and that's our 1 centimetre seam allowance. So I'm going to line it up there and go forwards and backwards there to lock it in, and then whiz all the way around. When you get to the sleeve ends, they're going to line up exactly. So you can then see I've taken all the pins out, and you've made your main sweatshirt shape. It's time now to turn it the right way around. It's worth just slipping it on, just checking that you're happy with everything on there, check that you're happy with the sleeve length and the overall length of the shape as well, because it's really simple to alter at this point. Then when you're happy, you need to neaten all these seams. So the fabric that we've included in the kits isn't going to fray, but if you particularly want to, I do like to make all mine nice and neat on the inside. So either do it with an overlock, or I'm going to use that overcast and stitch that we looked at earlier. So I'm going to put that foot on, I'm going to neaten the remaining 4 seams. Okay. Right, on our top we're now going to do the hemming, which we're going to do with a twin needle. So a twin needle looks like this. It's got 2 needles at the bottom and then 1 at the top. Most sewing machines are going to come with these, but they're readily available on the high street and online. So we're going to change the needle. To do that, I'm going to hold the needle and just turn the screw above it, just so that that needle comes out. Okay. And then when I put the needle back in, I need to make sure that the flat bit is towards the back. So I'm going to turn it that way around. I'm going to poke it down a little bit, and then I'm going to push it back up into its house up there. Hold that tight, and then tighten the screw back up again. And that's your twin needle put in. Now the other thing we're going to do is when we're working with the twin needle, we're going to have a single bobbin at the bottom, but we're going to work from 2 threads on the top. Some machines are going to have 2 spool holders, some will need a separate pin that you just put the pin on the top there, and we're going to run those 2 together. I'm going to take a long length, so I've unthreaded the machine, I'm going to take a long length of thread, and then I'm going to follow it as usual. Now unfortunately your needle threader won't work when we come to do this, so I'm following all those numbers all the way around. The little hook at the top of the needle, when you do that, just make sure that the left hand thread goes in only and not the right. I've just got both through, so I'm just going to take 1 out, and that helps avoid the thread getting knotted. I'm going to then lower the foot, and I'm going to put the machine to do a straight stitch but I'm going to set the needle so it's in the middle so that it doesn't hit either side of the foot. So we're going to do just a regular straight stitch. What this means is on the top it's going to do 2 straight lines, and on the back we've got the bobbin, so it's going to do a zigzag, so it's only got 1 on the back, and that allows the fabric to stretch a little bit. So I've threaded that through. I'm going to cut the threads off and then just thread the eye of the needle. So to twin needle, what we're going to do is fold this hem over by just over 1 centimetre. And we have to stitch upside down, meaning the right side of our fabric is on the outside. Oops, just reposition that back over like that. It's a good idea to practice this first if it's something that you haven't done before, and also to hem and to pin and press this as well as you go, just to make sure you've got the right amount of fabric folded over. Now I always use, when I'm doing this, I can feel where the edge of the fabric is here, because we want to make sure that both lines of stitching are going to attach the edge of the fabric. You can neaten this edge first as well. You can do that with an overlocker or using the overcasting stitch. And we're going to go forwards and backwards just to knot that in as usual. I'm starting on the back hem just to make sure. I've got it nice and straight. Don't go too fast when you're doing this, and always just do a little bit and then check and whiz down. Okay, so I'm just making sure that that's catching the edge of the fabric as we go. We're going to follow that all the way down, leaving the same amount of fabric this side always, because that's what's going to give us our nice straight edge. I'll do a little bit more and then I can show you on the reverse side. So we're going to come all the way around, always making sure it's parallel with that edge to give you that nice finish. We're going to work all around. So it can take a bit of getting used to because we're sewing upside down. You can always trim the inside a little bit if you need to. So just practice on a little piece of fabric first. Hitting that seam. Whenever you get to a seam, do go nice and slowly, because it's a lot for that needle to go over. Then hopefully you can see this piece here. So we've got a twin line here. It also has some stretch as well, and on the back it's done a zigzag stitch there and just caught the edge of the fabric. This one here, so you can overlock it first or you can trim that down afterwards, or just keep it as it is. And we're going to work our way all the way around all the hems on this top. So at the moment I'm doing the bottom hem, and then we're going to do our sleeves, and then we're going to repeat and do exactly the same around the neckline. But when we do the neckline, we're going to do it a bit closer. If you want more information on this, this is all available on our blog. So if you go to www.owlandsewingcat.com, click onto blogs and flick down, and you'll see a post there on how to twin needle, which gives you all this information. So we've now done our hemming, the twin needling all the way around the bottom of our top, nice and flat all around both cuffs. And the last bit I'm doing now is working around the neck. So it's the same principle. We're going to twin needle around the neck, but we can keep it just to 1 centimetre. We want it a little bit shallower because it's quite a curve, so the fabric needs to move around there. Although it's jersey, it will turn nicely. You just don't want that folded over bit to be too big. So just go 1 centimetre, fold it under, and then machining it all the way around. So you're going to be machining a little bit closer to the edge. This is the last bit of stitching that we're going to need to do on this jumper, and then it's all finished, and you've made yourself a lovely sweatshirt that's great for day and for evening. Just make sure you've got a really good quality fabric when you're doing this, because you want something that's going to keep you nice and warm and will last. You've spent a long time making it, you want something that's going to last as well and wash well. So the top's finished. Hope you get to make lots of these and really enjoy making and wearing them. As you can see, they're very simple, very quick to make, but really lovely style to wear. So the pattern is available on our website now. It's called Scoop Hem Top, so you can find that on www.owlandsewingcat.com. And it's also available as kit form too, if you want to make this lovely quilted jersey, which is obviously very on trend at the moment and nice and warm. And we've got that available as a kit for you as well. So when it arrives, you've got everything you need all ready to make your first top. Happy sewing. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.